What up, what up? It's your boy Joe. We've got a special guest, VIP member. So he's my flatmate. And you guys requested, obviously I've put out a poll explaining how my landlord tried to harass me. And my landlord is not a girl, not attractive at all. It's a man, Korean guy, right? And obviously, like,
he's a pastor as well.
He's a
pastor as well.
So he's a Catholic pastor, so that kind of like explains things. Like, obviously, I moved into this house, getting this room really cheap. I'm thinking I'm the boss, for negotiating it down like by $20-$30, right? When in reality, he thinks I'm a cute little boy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you guys in a minute my experience actually moving in and what I encountered and stuff. But before, I want to kind of like have like Adit to explain his experience of like getting to know the touchy-feely, I don't know whether it's homophobic, but like inappropriate interaction with the pastor.
It's not homophobic, but I mean, if you're like straight and someone's trying to a guy's trying to like touch you and shit.
Yeah. Look into
that's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, okay. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
yeah.
Don't put on something. It's like, don't put on something that you are on us. Like,
yeah.
Like, we respect that you're gay or something. I don't really care, but like, if you put that on us, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
So, the thing with me is, when I moved in first, I was pretty stoked. I looked at the place. It was nice, close to town and stuff. So in a way, I had nowhere else to go. So I needed him. In a way, I needed the pastor. So the minute I actually entered the house, he's like, come, like he wanted to hold my hand, show me around the place, and I was like, okay, he doesn't speak English, maybe it's a Korean thing, I don't know. So I was like, okay, as well, like I held his hand, because in that way, I didn't want to say no, I didn't want to refuse him, because I needed him, like I didn't want to kind of like start off with a bad impression, right?
He was feeding off your desperation.
Yeah, but like, he's like feeding off my desperation. So I'm thinking, okay, cool, place, bed. I negotiated down, and he's like, the way I kind of negotiated down was like pretty slick, I told him stories. I don't know. I just negotiated down really, and he's like, "You are very smart." And he comes and hugs me, and I was like, "This motherfucker." So fucking true. So what were your initial experiences? Actually, him trying to like become a bit more physical with you, and I'm asking you, do you think it's like he wants anything, or is it just his nature?
Well, I'm not sure if it's his nature, because it's a bit too much, Yeah. Initially, my uncle called him out, like the first day I was moving in. He helped me move in. So basically, he laid on the fucking bed, and the pastor tried to give him like a foot massage. And like, he worked his way up to his thighs and grabbed them, and my uncle was like, "The fuck you doing?"
Oh my fucking days! Really?
It was, and like, that was my first experience. I was like, okay, this guy's gay. Yeah, cause no straight guy in the universe, in the whole world would grab another guy's thighs,
Yeah.
On like first encounter. I don't think so. It's a cultural thing, like. Well, maybe, but I don't really think so. And like, it's really fucked up.
Yeah. Here's the key lesson. Like, I've written 3 lessons down, right? If somebody does something inappropriate to you, right? Or they will always start off small, like to an extent where you can brush it off, kind of thing. But the reason why they start off small, it's like to test the waters, right? And each time, and if you let it happen, if you don't kill it right there and then they will work their way up, just like with your uncle, like the thigh, they will work their way up. Next time it will be a bit more, you know, and next time a bit more, right? Lesson 1, basically, kill it early, right? Tell them off straight away, right? Because the way I kind of like, the first time I let it go, right? The second time he kissed me on the cheek, you know, like I wanted to, like he convinced me to go to church with him because I wanted to make a good impression. I didn't want to, like bring bad vibes, you know. It's like, okay, I'll come to the church with you. You convinced me, right? I went to, and he was so happy. He kissed me on the cheek, and I looked at him. I was like, what? You know, like my first time I disapproved of him actually doing something, right?
That's gay right there.
Yeah, he kissed me on the cheek, and then he apologized when I looked at him. What? You know?
Sorry.
And he said, oh, sorry. And then he got like some spray and some tissue to kind of wipe me. I was like, mate, this guy, you know, faggot. No, I'm joking. And then, by the way, disclaimer, I love gay people. I've got gay, I don't have gay friends, but you know, like if you're gay, man, much respect. Like this video right now. Subscribe if you're still gay.
Well, we don't have a problem with gay people. We have problems with sexual harassers. Like,
amen.
Exactly.
Amen. So sexual harassment is different, you know, like it needs to be consensual. So anyway, I kind of give him like a disapproval, right? And then a week later or so, Aditi told me about the pastor trying to spank him, right? And I was like, no way. He might be gay, but not that inappropriate, you know? And Aditi actually said, like, how did it go down?
So basically, he called me into his room. Like, he needed help with his computer shit. So I went and, like, helped him. So, thing is, I'm moving out. So he's like, I won't let you move out. I'm like, bitch, I'm moving out. And then he starts pulling me to his fucking bed. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And I pull myself back, and then he gets up, and like he's trying to spank me. I'm like, dude, don't do that shit.
Yeah.
He couldn't spank me because I just fled.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pulling another guy to your bed. What does that mean? You know.
That is inappropriate right there.
That's not inappropriate. That's like sexual harassment right there. Imagine if I was a girl, bro. You'd be in jail right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. So okay. Now, rule number two, yeah. If somebody does something to you that's against your values, you completely don't agree with, right? You want to put your foot down. In my book, I kind of like take into consideration 3 types of like assertiveness. One is like negotiation, like which is the light version. Then rationale, if something is inconvenient to you, right? And then the last one is like plain blank assertiveness, right? If somebody does something to you that's against your values, boom, put your foot down and like stop it, kill it right there and there. You know, I was washing up, right? I have got this and I admit it's a weakness of mine. If I don't like seeing other people embarrassed or uncomfortable, right? So I kind of do everything to make them feel comfortable, right? And if somebody does something to me that I do not agree with, or I feel like if I call them out in public that makes them feel embarrassed, I don't say anything. I just take the bullet. But this one time I was in the kitchen and he spanked me. He spanked my ass. He literally like, good boy, spanked me,
Good boy, you're not a boy.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, bro. I looked at him, and this is like exactly the words I said, I said, obviously he doesn't speak good English, right? So I kind of like articulated like in an aggressive but not good English way so that he understands the point, right? I said, no, I don't like. And he was like, okay, I'm sorry, And I didn't think much of it, but ever since he stopped completely. Like, describe his behavior, because I didn't notice. I just thought like, okay, he will leave me alone, so and so. But his complete behavior changed, right? Like, literally, just describe how he is behaving now.
Okay. So, thing is, he was completely avoiding me, like giving me way and shit. He wasn't talking to me. And I knew Harold had did something. I knew it. And like, then I asked him and he's like, how the fuck do you know? I'm like, something has changed in him. He's like really quiet and shit. He doesn't really interact and shit. Like, interact, I mean, like, he just says hi, that's it. But not anything like before. Like, he's not touchy at all.
Yeah.
And, like, he's completely changed. Like, and I was like, something must have been down.
Yeah. Rule number 3. Obviously, I think rule number 1 was kill it early. I don't know, rule number 3, whatever. If you let anybody do something more than 3 times, right, then it doesn't become a favor anymore. It becomes obligation, right? So, in other words, if you allow somebody to do something to you or treat you in a certain way, or you do, like, they ask you for a favor, which is like inappropriate, and you do it, right, more than 3 times, when you say no at the 4th time, they'll become pissed at you, right? They become like, I kind of like complacent. They expect it, right? For example, in terms of the pastor, right? If I let him touch my thigh once, right, he's testing the waters, right? If I let him get closer once, the next day, he's testing the waters, and he becomes kind of used to that, you know, like that kind of the relationship is set, right? But if I say no after the 4th time, he will get pissed. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? You know what I mean? Like, so you want to kill it early. I'll give you another example, right? Yeah, man. Like, I had a girl in the past that I always used to kind of like drive home, right? One time, because she had her bus ticket ran out and stuff, like, I drove her home, right? Once, right? She was so appreciative, right? The second week, I drove her home again. She was appreciative. The 3rd week, you know, like, she asked me, like, all casual and cheeky, like, hey, you driving me home today? I drove her home again, right? In a way, she was complacent, right? The 4th time I say no, it's like, what the fuck? You're supposed to drive me home. You know, like that complacency, that kind of like, anything you let anybody, if you do something more than 3 times, right, it becomes an obligation. It's not like a favor anymore. So, like I say, you have to kind of like teach people how to treat you in a way. Otherwise, if you let things go consistently, right, then you're letting them treat you without any boundaries, and they will lose respect. But I already knew, since I've got social skills, I know how to deal with it. If you're faced with something, kill it early, especially if it's small. Usually what happens is when people do something to test the waters, which is against your values, you feel this little uncomfortable feeling inside, right? But you can't point your finger at it, you know? Once you feel it, once you feel like intuitive, like, or something is off, or I don't like this, mate, call them out straight away. Because if you don't, they'll kind of start expecting it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, it's already 18 minutes. If you have to watch to the end, subscribe, like this video, man. Like, this is some pure wisdom. If you've got any problems with like asserting yourself, man, literally watch through this video more than once. I've got another video which I'll put up here in the card that you can watch, where I kind of like go into more detail on how to assert yourself and actually defend yourself. But basically, man, that landlord is not messing with me no more. And in fact, like, he's leaving everybody else in the flat alone. Hero of the house.